Hey Bridgeview kids, how you doing? Happy Wednesday. Hey, we talked on Monday about David and Goliath and how David slew Goliath because he came in the name of the Lord and didn't rely on his sword or spear or whatever he didn't even have with him. But Goliath did rely on those things, and because of that, he died. Today, we're going to talk about Goliath's sword. See, we read in here that David ran and stood over him. He took hold of the Philistine's sword and drew it from his sheath, and after he killed him, he cut his head with the sword. Why is that important? Well, a sword back then was actually a super big deal. Not a lot of people had swords. You see, this was before we had forges or things that really made metal. He lived in a time called the Iron Age. So this iron sword was like a big, heavy, blunt tool that honestly cost a ton. And only really skilled warriors had a sword. So when he goes and he slays this giant and he takes that sword, he's taking a trophy. He's taking something to show the world, I killed a giant, and now I possess his sword. I am the one who did this, look at me. So David has this sword, and there's something cool about this sword. We don't see it for a long time. It doesn't say if David uses it again, but the next time we do see it is when David is an old man. And he's a king. And he goes to the place that's serving as the temple. It's a tabernacle at that time. And in it, he finds the sword of Goliath. And why is that cool? What? How did it get there? Well, that's why it's cool. Because David took the glory of killing a giant, and instead of saying, look at me, I have the sword of a giant, he gave it to God. And he said, look what God did. God used me to kill a giant. God used me, so I'm giving the glory to God. When we believe in God, when we have faith in God, and when God comes through for us, we need to recognize that it was God who did it. You and I are great, but we're almost always never enough. We couldn't conquer the promised land on our own. We couldn't kill that giant on our own. But when we put our faith in God, that's when we win. And because of that, we need to give glory to God. So I hope you remember David's sword in those moments when you come out on top of something that has been just challenging you. Remember to give glory to God because he's the one who gave you that victory. I will see you soon, BBC kids. You take care.